Moor Raw Best Bitter.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The weather is warming up again and I'm not happy about that because I do not like the hot weather, and it's getting very humid as well. So what do? You drink bitter. And I have got one here from the Moor Brewery based in Bristol. Now they're a craft brewer, but what I like about this lot is they've got a lot going for them. Started in 2007 by a Californian fella who came over here, started brewing, and he eventually moved this place down to Bristol, and he's got a really nice range of beers. They do best bitter, they do pale ale, they do an IPA, a British style IPA, they even do an old ale, believe it or not. Now a craft brewer doing old ale is unheard of, and I love that. If craft brewers can bring back these sort of styles, then that'll be brilliant. I mean, yeah, they do this, you know, the American IPAs and stuff like that, which is fair enough. You know, all craft brewers do that. But a lot of them overlook these old British styles, but this lot don't. And this is their best bitter offering. Now, what's different about this, as if that's not different already, is that all their beer is can conditioned. It is naturally carbonated with the yeast, and it is put into the can and it ferments in the can. So obviously extending the shelf life, but also giving it a rounder flavour the older it gets. Certainly that is suited for beers like bitter and especially old ale. That's what it thrives on, that sort of thing. Another good thing about them is they pioneered the lack of use of thinnings or finings, whatever way you want to pronounce it. What are they? It's basically the nasty additives you get in beer, like fish bladder, that sort of thing, which clears all the murkiness and the cloudiness of a beer, which was a practice that was quite common. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure it still is. I know of a few brewers that actually say that they use that as well. Now, you know, I personally don't give a fuck about vegans or whatever, but if you're a vegan and you want to drink vegan friendly beer, then obviously you can't have finings in the beer, or thinnings, whatever way you want to pronounce it. I don't really know, but these make a point of not doing that, which I think is really good as well. And I love the fact that they're doing these old British styles, and it took an American fella to do that. And you know, I've been saying this for a while now, craft brewers, every man and his dog who's brewing beer now is doing these really high hopped IPAs, West Coast, East Coast, and pale ales with all American hops and stuff like that. And they're just ignoring these styles, which I think is criminal. But let's stop gassing and let's see what's going on here. Now I do apologise, I've got a touch of hay fever at the moment, and today it seems to be playing up, and I've taken my anti-inflammatories and it still ain't doing that much, so I may not be too on form with the aromas, but let's investigate anyway. This is a 4.3 can, this is 4.3% ABV, it's not a 4.3 can, it's a 330ml can. It has got some gumph on the side, it's in various languages, blah blah blah. Ingredients: water, malted barley, malted wheat, hops and yeast. Yeah, it's just all the naturally can conditioned with live yeast, always unfiltered, unpasteurised and Unfined, of course, is, you know, the lack of the fish bladder. Natural sedimentation may occur. Enjoy fresh, storing in upright in a cool, dark place. Pour gently. Okay, let's get on that. Excuse the sniffing. Now, I had a can of this before, and it was given to me by a mate, and actually a subscriber, Mark. Cheers for that. Unfortunately, that can went for a burton in the back of my motor, and it just emptied out for some reason. I don't know what happened, but the can leaked, and I was really gutted because I was looking forward to that. But I managed to track some more of this down online, so this is what I've been looking for. Now, I think I've tried their IPA, this Moor IPA, and it was really nice. It was just like a British IPA with the volume turned slightly up with the hops, and it tasted really good. Now, there's that best bitter, very cloudy, and it does look like a cask ale. The head has dissipated quite rapidly though. What aromas are we getting out of here? There's some fruity style hops coming out of here, like apple, a little bit of spice on there, and some caramel malt. I can't really get much because of this fucking hay fever, and it's really annoying me. But there it is. To be honest, it doesn't look very appetising. There's not much of a head in there at all. No brew sheet, unfortunately. So I don't know what hops are in here. Okay, let's just get this down the hatch. Cheers. Not bad. It does taste very much like a cask ale or a cask bitter. It's got all them characteristics. It's very drinkable, I will say that. There's a pub I'm going to tomorrow in Kent, and they specialise in all this stuff on cask and keg, and I've drunk quite a few bitters from local Kent brewers. There's one called the Musket Brewery, there's Bexley Brewery, Old Dairy is another one, and this is the sort of thing they do. They thrive on these cask conditioned ales and bitters, and this tastes just like one of them. There's some caramel malt, but the emphasis is on the hops. But they're British hops, and you're getting all them characteristics of the hops come through there. Earth, some black pepper spice, and on the finish, quite bitter. There's a little, as I say, a little touch of caramel malt on there, but this is all about the earth that goes into British hops, you know, them earth, touch of apple, black pepper, that type of flavour, a bit of hay on that as well, but it, you know, it just is typically British, and it's really nice. It's how bitter I used to taste out of a can years ago. It's what I remember, that type of flavour, and even on draft as well. It's really nice. I'm glad they've done that, because, you know, as I say, I'm always trying to promote these old British styles of beer. Yeah, I'm going to review all my German stuff, all your Belgian stuff, and even the American IPAs, but I really do like to emphasise the British stuff, especially from these older British brewers. However, this being a craft brewer from, you know, formed in 2007 by a fella called Justin Hulk, I always thought that was a geezer out of the darkness. but he's from Norfolk apparently. That fella out of darkness, this fella's American. But I'll tell you something, he's nailed this British bitter, definitely. He's done a real good job on it. It really does taste like it's just been pulled out of a cask. I'm really impressed. And of course, it's can conditioned. All their beers are, which I really like. And the lack of, head in that is probably down to the natural carbonation. You're not going to get masses of carbonation with just the yeast. You will get some, and you can see some bubbles in there, but there's not much. A lot of these brewers now, they just fire in some CO2 as they're canning them up. And the beer does dissolve some of the CO2, but you do get reasonable amounts of head on these beers that have had that done, either in the bottle or in the can. But this stuff, impressive. So what's the verdict on Moor? Yeah, I really like these. They've done a really good job on this best bitter. It does taste like a best bitter that's just been poured or pulled from a cask or a keg. It's got that sort of mouthfeel and flavour to it as well, and it's really nice. Super drinkable as well. It goes down really quickly, and yeah, no complaints whatsoever. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I recommend it, and I'm getting to like this brewery. The IPA was really good. The best bitter is really nice. I'm going to review their pale ale in a minute, and I've just been reading up about the pale ale, and it looks to be like an old school British pale ale, which, if it is, in an age where everybody's doing American pale ales, it's taken an American to come over here and show us, what we should be doing. So, again, that is impressive. But this is going to get an 8.5 out of 10. I'm definitely going to recommend it, and I'm going to recommend all their beers because I love the fact they're all can conditioned. They've got no nasties in them, and I really need to get hold of some of their old ale. I'm dying to try that out of a can to see what that is like. But as for this is a really good one. So 8.5 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.